Also welcome on board Deven Choksey, who joins in on the show. Deven, it's about IT. The fact that Wipro is announcing a bonus, that is what we are picking up when they are going to declare their numbers. Infi TCS already out. Does the pecking order change? Does Infi come to the top slot, or do you think TCS will maintain its leadership?
Yeah, good morning. Well, no doubt Infosys is making all its best efforts to come back onto the track and probably I think show relatively better confidence in the business. However, the leadership is clearly seen with TCS. I think they've become more aggressive, and that's what I like about such companies. When I think they grow big and if they still develop the habit of I think remaining young and remaining aggressive, I think they have the relatively better times going forward as far as the business is concerned. What I'm seeing interestingly in case of TCS, that every quarter they've been signing at least 4 or 5 $1 billion accounts, which are basically giving them a visibility for next 10 years. And I think that's in a way, I think if you look at it, between 15 to 20 $1 billion new accounts are getting signed up in a year, which is giving them a good visibility for next 10 years. So in a way, I think I like this company more because I think it is showing the larger amount of growth continuing on a year-over-year basis. At the same time, I think they're changing their position from earlier business model to largely into the cloud computing, artificial intelligence or machine learning or algorithm based, I think the platforms that they have been providing. So from that perspective, I like the strategy of TCS relatively better. The Infosys, I think, is putting all the corrective strengths, I think, behind that, and probably I think they should be catching up soon. So I think both these companies would remain 1 and 2 respectively in my viewpoint.
Deven, when NBFCs will come out with numbers will not be strong. Which is one NBFC stock you would buy which could adversely react to numbers, or you don't expect adverse reaction at all?
So yeah, Nikunj, I think there will be some amount of negativity I think coming up in NBFC in space in general. Most of them probably have had their situation of higher cost of funds in this particular quarter, and I think they have remained relatively slow in extending the credit to the customers. Out of the lot, if I look at Bajaj Finance, I think it remains relatively safer company. They have been continuing with their quick recovery of loans through 1 year, 2 year period, I think, in which they would lend money on to the retail customers. So that company remains relatively a stronger company. However, there may be a situation that in this quarter they might have relatively slower credit growth compared to the earlier quarters. Though on a year-over-year basis, I think they will still continue to record a growth in excess of 30%. That is what my take is. So Bajaj Finance relatively remains, I think, a stronger company. Their ability to secure NIM at a higher levels, I think it's also, I think, a reflection of their strategy of subvention pricing, which is basically working very good for this company. And the housing finance business continues to reward better. So in that sense, I think this company remains relatively more comfortable vis-a-vis the entire NBFC space as I see it currently.
Deven Choksey, I'll put you on the hot seat. Would you buy Jet? Would you buy Jet with the assumption that a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, Jet will be a much more formidable and a much better franchise?
So Nikunj, I look at, I think, the entire aviation business into two parts. One on the balance sheet side and the second is on the operating side. On the operating side, if I have to select one company, it has to be always Indigo, because their focus has always remained on, I think, making the best money out of every rupee that they earn. So I like that particular company. Jet, all depends on, I think, who the next promoter is going to be and how he's going to drive that company. So from that perspective, I think we'll have to wait for, I think, getting the operational clarity about the Jet. At this point of time, I think it remains relatively, I think, on a weaker side. Having talked about the P&L side, I think the operation side, I would now look at the balance sheet side. I think who is the promoter who is going to own this particular company? Aviation business generally understood that I think it should be held in the hands of, I think, the stronger promoter who can withstand the kind of a swing in the business, which it's a normal course in this particular activity. Aviation businesses have seen in past, I think we have seen in various companies, including the global companies, that in every 8 years, I think they would have at least 2 or 3 rough patches, as I would call it, in the business, and that's where I think this business is at trouble. So there you require the strong promoter with the deep pockets who could possibly sustain this kind of rough weather in a given situation. Currently, I'm not too sure about, I think, who could probably come and repair the balance sheet of Jet Airways. So we'll wait and see how exactly the situation pans out. But as of now, I'll wait. I will not, I think, get into the business for investments.
Right. Deven, the other work in progress has been Yes Bank. Now we're picking up from our exclusive sources that, there's also Ravneet Gill currently at Deutsche Bank India, who's also one amongst the chosen ones from the selection committee whose name has been recommended to the RBI along with Rajat Monga, the insider. Do you believe there's merit in relooking at Yes Bank, and would you buy it still at 195 thereabouts?
So the valuation wise, Asha, everything is fairly discounted, and that's where I think it's worth taking a chance, because downside risk in the business is probably limited. Whoever the new management comes in, I think will have to show really, I think, direction to the company for next phase of growth, I think, which the bank will have to produce. Both ICICI as well as in case of Axis, we have seen the change in the management has actually, I think, worked better for these banks. So there is no reason to not believe that in this particular case also you would find the change in the management working relatively better. And obvious it is, I think it's going to be, I think, a stronger approach going forward. So downside is limited, whether I think you want to buy with the certainty about the management and then take a call, or you want to buy now and I think see the downside limited at this point of time, is a call an investor has to take. As of now, I must say that we have remained invested in Yes Bank, and I think I am not adding further at this point of time. Would like to watch the development and then probably take the next call.
But if you wait for the development, you will not get a chance to buy. I mean, if you wait for Robin, the spring is going to be over.
Quite possible that I think I may end up buying 10-20% higher. Quite possible, I totally agree. But when you look at the businesses from the long-term perspective, I think you don't mind buying little higher, I think, once you get the clarity established. As of now, I think I do have one clarity in mind, that yes, I think the new management will come and it will come for better. Whether I want to take an immediate call at this point of time, that's where I said I'll rather wait. Because having got investment into the company, probably I think it's worth waiting and then probably take an additional call. Though I must say that I think fundamentally the bank valuation wise, if you look at it, I think it has remained, I think, attractive at the current values. But clarity makes a lot of difference, I think, and it also helps, I think, in keeping your confidence into the business. So certainly I think with the clarity, I would like to consider buying further into the stock.